Tonight, I'll be reading Disney's Mulan. Bedtime story for Mia Love Castañón. This is my baby. I push for you every day, little baby. And I love you with all my heart. Disney's Mulan. Uh-oh. Long ago, beyond the Great Wall of China, a young woman named Mulan lived with her family. One day, the Emperor's aide rode into town. The Hans have invaded China, he announced. One man from every family must serve the Emperor's imperial army. Mulan's father felt it was his duty to join the army even though he had been injured in early battles. That night he began to practice his fighting moves. Unaware that Mulan was watching him, suddenly a pain from an old wound shot through his leg and he collapsed to the floor. Mulan knew that her father wouldn't be able to survive another battle, so she decided to disguise herself as a man and take his place. She cut her hair, put on the soldier's clothes, and left in the middle of the night on her horse, Cane. But Mulan was not alone. The spirit of the ancient ancestors sent Mushu, a tiny dragon, along to protect her. They arrived at the army camp. Mushu whispered suggestions about how to look more like a man. Show them your man walk, he said. Shoulders back, chest high, feet apart, head up, and strut. I don't think I could do this, whispered Mulan. It's all attitude, Mushu told her. Mulan took a deep breath and strode into camp. She tried to make friends with the other soldiers, Chin Po, Yao, and Ling, but she ended up causing a fight. The camp was in total chaos when Captain Seng arrived. Soldiers, the captain shouted. Everybody sprang to attention and pointed at Mulan. He started it, they all said in unison. Sorry, Mulan said. Then she remembered she was supposed to be a man and lowered her voice. Oh, I'm sorry. What's your name? Shang asked. My name is, Ping, Mulan told him. She handed him the army papers and frowned. She was not off to a good start. Captain Sang, a skillful leader, and though Mulan felt clumsy and inadequate, she worked as hard as she could. She didn't want anyone to find out she was a girl. Sang led the recruits through a series of goltering training exercise to help them prepare for battle. One of the lessons involved retrieving an arrow from the top of a pole while carrying a heavy bronze disc tied to each wrist. One represents discipline. The others represent strength, Singh said. Hold up the disc. You need both to reach the arrow. One was able to do it. No one was able to do it. Finally, after several attempts, Mulan had an idea. She tied the weights to her wrist and then looped them together and used them as hoists to hoist herself to the top. She had done it. All of the soldiers admired Mulan's determination, and they still didn't know that she wasn't a man. After much training, Shang led them into the Tungsung Pass to meet the rest of the army. When they arrived, they discovered that the army had been defeated and none of the soldiers have survived. Sang was especially upset because he realized his father, General Lee, had been killed. Sang composed himself and turned to his soldiers. The Huns are moving quick. We're the only hope the emperor has now. Move out, he ordered. Before long, the Huns discovered Shang and his troops. Hundreds of them raced to the mountaintops, firing arrows at some small band of soldiers. At first, it seemed like Shang and his army would meet the similar fate as his father, but Mulan got an idea. She seized a cannon and ran it right towards the Huns. When she had almost reached the leader, Shen Yin, Mulan aimed the cannon above head. The rocket hit the mountain behind him and caused a huge avalanche. Snow tumbled down quickly, burying the enemy. Mulan had been wounded, but she was still able to jump on the horse and pull Shang away from the snow just before he was buried. And Chin Po and the others helped them to safety. Shang looked at Mulan with an admiration. Ping, you are a craziest man I've ever met, and for that I owe you my life, he said. From now on, you have my trust. But Mulan's wound had been treated by a doctor. Hadn't been treated by a doctor. It was then when the doctor told the soldiers that Ping was really a woman named Mulan, and that at that time in China, Mulan's deception was punishable by death. Sung spared her a life for a life, he declared. My debt is repaid. He told her she would not be allowed to continue with the other soldiers. Dejected Mulan, watching the troops march away, leaving her alone with Mushu and Khan. With a heavy heart, she confided into the little dragon, I should never have left home. I just wanted to do the right thing, so that when I looked in the mirror I would see someone worthwhile, but I was wrong. I see nothing. You risk your life to help other people that you love, Mushu replied, but don't worry, things will work out. As Mulan turned towards home, she saw that Shen Yin and his few Huns had survived, and they were headed towards the imperial city. Racing on her horseback to the imperial city, Mulan found Shang and told him what she had seen. You don't belong here, he replied. Go home. You have to believe me, said Mulan. Shang wouldn't believe, but soon the Huns seized the emperor and ran into his palace. Mulan turned to her friends for help. Chin Po, Ling, and Yao tried and failed to break down the palace door. Hey, I have an idea, Mulan called, eager to help their quick-thinking friends. The soldiers let Mulan dress them as women. Then they were used as They used sashes as they dre- sashes from their dress to climb the palace columns. Shang realized that Mulan's trustworthy to join the effort. Once inside, they attack the unexpected Huns. After the battle, the emperor approached Mulan. "I have heard a great deal about you, Fa Mulan," he said. "You stole your father's armor, ran away from home, impersonated a soldier, deceived your commanding officer, dishonored the Chinese army, destroyed my palace. You have saved us all." Then he bowed to Mulan in gratitude, everyone else. Stunned, everyone else did the same. She see to it that a woman is made a member of the council, the emperor said. Mulan was honored but knew that she needed to return to her family. Then then take this, so your father will know that you have done what you have done for me, the emperor said, handing her a pendant from his chest. On it, then he gave her a Sayang sword. And this, the sword, the world will know what you have done for China. Mulan thanked the emperor and said goodbye to her friends. It was time to go home and face her father. At home, Mulan presented the emperor's pendant and Xiaoyun's sword to her father. "They are gifts in honor to the Fa family," she explained, bowing her head. He put them aside and hugged Mulan. The greatest gift and honor I've ever had is having a daughter like you," he said. Sung had followed Mulan home and had realized that his feelings for her had grown. She had been a very courageous and admired her for it. Mulan invited Shang to stay for dinner. He and her family celebrated, delighted everything had turned out so well. That is the story for tonight, little baby. Tomorrow I will be reading Disney's Aladdin. I know you love that. Right, my little princess. I love you so much, my queen. And I love you, my little princess. I don't know if you watch these, but I make them out of pure love for my little baby. Love you guys. Good night.